R.I.P. to the dog DMX, one of the greatest artists of our time, of hip hop, and hip hop of all time. We all know he's a great artist. He's gonna go right up there with the likes of Big and Pac. But you know, I want to look at DMX as more than just an artist, as a man. I appreciate his transparency. He was never shy about letting us know what his flaws were, you know. And I think that's one of the greatest things about X, was just that, I mean, some of us try to pretend that, you know, we don't have flaws when we do. It's the inevitable. It's unavoidable. You know, no one is perfect. But even taking it a step further, his childhood trauma is something that we can use as an example in terms of us making sure that we address those traumas. I mean, healing is a lifelong journey, and I feel like DMX spent his whole life fighting, trying to heal. Substance abuse is no joke, and as individuals, we all deal with trauma differently. Our brains react to trauma differently. X has some issues with his mother growing up, traumatized by the violence and the beatings. Your mother is they say is the closest thing to God you'll ever have, is on this planet, is your mom, you know, and your dad, of course. But I know what it's like to have issues with your mother. Like, my first introduction to trauma was through my mother, and I understand how it affected me for the rest of my life. You know, the way I reacted was different than what X reacted or whatever, but nevertheless, there was a trauma response to the things that I went through with my mother as well as X. So when I looked at X, I just saw someone who had childhood trauma, was very aware, but spent his whole life fighting, trying to get through that trauma, you know. And I think that us as a community, as people, we have to understand that when you're going through those developmental stages as a human being, you're most vulnerable in those youthful stages, and that stuff stays with you forever. Some of us bury it, some of us address it, some of us, as X did, you know, coped with it through substance abuse and things of that nature. Doesn't make anyone better than the next person, but let's just have that discussion, you know, because understandably so, he was a great artist and a celebrity, etc. But that was just a human being, a black man who dealt with childhood traumas, group homes. He was caught in the system, the same type of kids that we deal with today in our community, that we try to help and we try to assist. I don't just see a superstar. I see that child who was traumatized by some of the pain, and he fought his whole life. So let's just say it again, R.I.P. to the dog DMX. I see more than a celebrity and an artist. I see a man, a black man who, you know, has a lot of childhood trauma. Peace.